What's going on, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Solid Studio Speaker Simulator and Cab IR from New X Effects. So the Solid Studio is a really cool, very intuitive, and very simple to use speaker simulator and IR loader. Now, we're not really going to focus on the IR loading aspects of this. We're more going to look at this unit more as what it is. It's essentially a speaker simulator pedal with a very simple to use control layout that within 5 minutes you could be up and rolling with this thing, getting a speaker sound that you are going to enjoy. So let's take a look at the controls that are on the face of the pedal and some of the I/O options that we have. So when you take your first glance at the Solid Studio, it looks like a pedal, and it works exactly in that way. You select 8 different speaker emulations on this knob right here, 8 different microphone emulations, and really they run the gamut from all the classic cabs, from a let's see, we got a Roland Jazz Chorus model on here, a 212 AC30 cabinet, and a bunch of different Marshall variations as well with vintage 30s and greenbacks. Overall, in the small amount that we have available to us on the Solid Studio, it's really hard to pick a bad apple amongst the bunch. And all the microphones definitely classics, everything from a Sennheiser 421, the classic Shure SM57, to a couple different Royer ribbon microphones, which is a very interesting choice because most people usually default to the R121. Overall, really simple way of finding a cab and finding a microphone that you're going to like. The other parts that will be controlling the speaker emulation are these 2 switches in the middle right here. This first one on the left has 3 different power amp simulations from EL34, 6V6, and EL84. I find it really interesting that they've gone with this particular assortment of power amp simulation because EL34, fairly common. We see a lot of big amps with that. But 6V6 and EL84s, those really occupy more of the lower wattage amplifier. But again, when we start playing around with it and really getting to know it, you find that these are very well chosen power amp simulations. The second switch on the right is a position switch for the microphone emulation, allowing you to choose whether or not you want it in the center, in the middle of the speaker, or at the very edge of the speaker. For me, the big secret weapon of this particular unit, the Solid Studio, is the power amp emulation. You have 3 different controls for that with a master, drive, and a presence control, basically allowing you to adjust the high end of the power amp simulation. But it's this drive thing. This is really one of the things that I love about this particular pedal. It's a secondary gain stage that comes into play that simulates sort of the cold or hot running amplifier stage that basically sends your signal out to the speaker. Again, you have the master volume involved. You have another way of adjusting how much signal is going out of the Solid Studio, and I really like it for that purpose. You can either get a very true to whatever pedals you have plugged ahead of your Solid Studio, or you can drive the power amp just a little bit to get a little bit of added coloration. And I find that you pair a nice like Marshall in a box kind of pedal with a sort of driven EL34 power amp from the Solid Studio produces a really cool sound. I think what makes the Solid Studio a really amazing package is its assortment of I/O capabilities. We of course have an input, we have a through output, a TRS 1/4 inch output, which you can either run as a balanced output via 1/4 inch cable, or you can plug your headphones in here. It runs off a normal center negative 9-volt power supply. It does require quite a bit of power, so I usually end up using something in the 500 milliamp range, just so that I really am sure that this thing is getting all the juice that it could possibly need in order to operate effectively. And then on the left side of the pedal, you have a balanced XLR output that is basically just a DI output. The fact that we have all this different stuff of getting our guitar sound into it and then out to the final destination means that NewX has really gone and done their homework to see what exactly this box needed in order to be the super easy to use and versatile thing that it is. So we've talked enough about the features and the specifications. It's time to hear this thing, because that's really where the Solid Studio shines. So let's go ahead and plug this bad boy in. All right, people, let's hear what the Solid Studio can do for our otherwise uninspiring direct guitar sound. First off, let's just hear what dry guitar sounds like. Not much. It's just pure, unadulterated electric stuff. Then we bring in our preamp to do all the tone shaping, but the problem here is that we're just going out of it like a normal pedal, and it's producing a sound that really is kind of harsh. Which, if you want to do the revolution thing, is not such a bad idea, and that sound can be useful in certain aspects. But if you're trying to go for a more traditional, appropriate approach to a guitar recording, you're gonna need to bring in that cab sim. So let's go ahead and take a look at that side of the Solid Studio first. Let's take a listen just with I think it's a good idea to just start with the SM57, because that's a very familiar guitar recording microphone. You hear it on the majority of the videos that I do for this channel, and really any other video that I do outside of this channel that I'm in, you're probably going to be hearing an SM57. And you can see, just by changing up the different cabinet models that are here in the Solid Studio, you really get just some tone shaping out of changing up the speaker. And that's something that I don't feel like a lot of guitar players really understand. With a pedal like the Solid Studio coming in and having them so easily accessible, with the turn of a knob, we can hear that change and that shift in the tone. It really kind of starts opening up new ideas and a sort of a new world, so to speak. Let's go ahead and listen to what the different microphones do. We're working back to the Dynamic 421, and then we're gonna work our way counterclockwise around the knob. For some reason, I can't talk today. What I've found in playing around with this cab sim is that certain microphones that I thought I would gravitate to more, like the SM57, definitely a favorite of mine in the analog world and in the real world, I guess I can say. But finding that what it is with this one I don't necessarily like, and I might gravitate more towards the ribbon simulations. And then even finding that some of the condenser models I'm really enjoying. And I'm not typically a condenser on guitar cabs guy because that sound is very old school, which is fine, but I find myself really enjoying the way that they add a sort of new breath of life, so to speak, to the direct guitar sound. It helps make things feel a little bit more real. Now let's listen to what the different positions sound like with one microphone. Mic positioning, just another one of those things that guys don't really take into consideration when it comes to chasing their tone. Yeah, there you go. And I find that that works for me. Now, the thing with the Solid Studio that I really like and what I really think is the sort of secret weapon of this particular cab sim is the power amp simulation. Now, you don't have a whole like wide swath of different power amp simulations to choose from, but this one is definitely, of the two that I've gotten recently from companies to check out, feels the most adjustable and is really the one that I like the best, because you are able to tailor the saturation and the gain structure of the power section. I'll show you how significant things change with just one chord. You can already sense a little bit of a tonal shift. Now that we have the master and the drive control and the presence control for the power amp simulation here engaged, we can now get a little bit more volume and color out of our tone. So let's go ahead and find something that will be fairly true to what we have on the Dirty Boy right now, but will give us a little bit of extra lift and maybe just a little bit of extra sparkle. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like that. So let's go ahead and listen to the 6v6 voicing. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the BS410, which is a 410 Bassman cab. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll put the presence back up. It's a Fender. Come on, it's gonna be bright. Sweet. And now let's go to EL84s, which of course is the tube famously used in the Vox AC30. So I think appropriately we should go for something Voxy. So I'm gonna go to the A212, which is a Vox 212 cab. We need that chime. We gotta have it. Let's back the master down and let's just see how things work out for us here. That feels very Beatlesy. A lot of different microphones, a lot of different cabs, some power amp simulation, and a little bit of color. It's just a really great tool. It's really fun to just hear these differences between the different cabs and the different microphones and seeing what kind of gain staging you can get out of it. It's something that I'm having a lot of fun testing out and seeing how it's going to work for me in the grand scheme of what I do as a musician. But the one thing that I really want to stress with you guys is how easy this is to use. So in this last portion of the video, I'm gonna pull out a pedal that I've never used with the Solid Studio, and I'm going to get a sound with it that I like, and we're gonna put up a timer and you'll see exactly how long it takes for me to find a sound that I'm comfortable with and that I enjoy. So let's cut to that. Okay, to make this even more of a challenge, I'm not only going to use a pedal that I've never used with the Solid Studio before, I'm also gonna use a guitar that I've never used with the Solid Studio before, and I haven't even demoed yet. It's a Framus Television, and it's a beautiful, beautiful guitar, semi-hollow, with just 2 humbuckers, volume, tone, and a 3-way switch, and it feels very much like home and is a lot of fun to use. Now, what pedal did I select for this challenge, you might ask? It's the Wazacraft Metal Zone in the custom mode, because really, why would we go anywhere else? I've got my stopwatch going, and I might end up speeding this clip up. I have no idea because I haven't edited yet, so future me will decide on that. That'll be his problem. And I'm gonna start the stopwatch and we're gonna get going. 3, 2, 1. Boom. In 4 minutes, 42.52 seconds, I'm rolling with a sound that I'm perfectly happy playing with. I could easily record some tracks down, and I could even get like super nitpicky. Like I couldn't barely see the controls on the Metal Zone because I wanted to make sure that you guys could see the time. I wanted to prove to you guys that it's that easy to dial something in. And within 5 minutes, and granted, I've had this pedal for a while and I know sort of the inner workings of it, but all these adjustments were really just me sitting in this room, playing the guitar, and just listening. It is super easy to use. You can dial in a sound within 5 minutes and be happy with it, and doing something and recording something, practicing. With everything that you can do with this pedal, it's really hard to argue against it. It is one that I am definitely putting on a pedal board for some sort of session purpose in case, you know, wherever I go, they don't want to mic up a guitar cab. And man, 5 minutes. And that's really all you need in order to get a great cab and power amp sim sound. And there you have it, my friends. I certainly hope you enjoyed this look at the Solid Studio by New X Effects. Now, we didn't even touch on any of the IR loader capabilities of this and the external software that you can download via New X's website. My buddy Vlad at Catpick Studios has a great video, which I will link in the description below, that you should watch if you want to check that out. For me, I really wanted to take a look at this as a very simple plug and play kind of speaker simulator, as evidenced by the previous segment where we just called up a speaker and power amp sound in under 5 minutes. Because to me, that's the real selling point of this thing. The fact that you can plug into it without really knowing 100% of what these different cab models mean and what these different mic models mean. You're going to just basically find a sound that you like and is going to get you playing and get you inspired to play and create. And isn't that really what the best kind of gear does? I personally think so. And if you did enjoy this little video, please do leave me a comment section below. Give me a thumbs up, and please do consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss another speaker simulator demo coming soon. And until next time, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and me and my new Solid Studio wish you all great tone and happy stomping.